Stress and job burnout are among the leading causes of poor physical and mental health, leaving many people suffering from anxiety, depression, and exhaustion. In her early 20s and 30s, back in the 70s and 80s, Judy Banks worked on Wall Street. She worked hard, partied hard, chain smoked, and loved every minute of it. Self-care was not a conversation. As her life got a bit more serious, after getting married and having children, she realized that she needed to clean up her act. She needed to be responsible. She found out that artificial food coloring was the root cause of her son's hyperactivity, and she started to do more research and educate herself. She began to pay attention to the details. She became more mindful about not just what she ate, but how she lived. Mindfulness not only reduces stress, but also gently builds an inner strength so that future stressors have less impact on our happiness and physical well-being. Judy often says, the missing piece in our lives is often the missing piece in our lives. Today, Judy's work focuses on the mind and body connection and stress management, offering men and women a logical and sustainable approach to creating a more balanced, healthy, and meaningful life. Welcome to Bella to the Core. My name is Vanessa Coppes, and I'm so excited to be bringing you today our guest, Judy Banks. What better way to set us up for success in this journey that we're going to continue to be on in the show than having someone speak to us about being mindful. Can you elaborate about that a little bit and tell us what is mindfulness? It's a buzzy word. We hear it on the news. We hear it with people that we encountered on a day-to-day basis. I'm practicing being more mindful. What exactly does that mean?
Well, mindfulness is really self-awareness and our ability to be present. And the reason that it's such a big conversation now, you see magazines everywhere, Time, Scientific American devoted entire issues to it, continue to, is because we live a very stressful life. We live in a world of overwhelm, of doing, of always being on the go, and we have accepted stress as the new norm. Now, stress has the ability to hurt us, to affect us, to affect our health, not because it's in our mind, but that when we're stressed, we actually weaken our immune system, we actually weaken our body's ability to maintain homeostasis. And so it's become such a buzzword because it's the missing piece to the puzzle in the 21st century. And people are starting to realize that in order to be happy, in order to get things done, in order to remain focused, they need to be focused on what it is that they're doing and not consistently be pulled away by distractions. And we're often pulled away by distractions by our mind. Our mind is a time traveler. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Most of those thoughts are about yesterday and tomorrow. And in every single moment of our life, our mind is handing us files. It works for us. It's saying, here, how about this and how about that? And usually it's handing us files that we've attached emotion to. So no matter what we're doing, we're being distracted by worry, by fear, by regret, by the things we have to do. And we very rarely find it easy to stay focused on what it is that we're doing in that moment. How many times are you at a restaurant and you look at the table next to you and it's a bunch of people together sitting on their phones?
Yes, that's so true.
And so that's a shame because they're really
we've lost the art of conversation.
Right, social connection is also something. There's actually studies that show social connection extends your life.
Correct.
Extends your lifespan, and so our technology takes us away from that. 80 to 300 times a day, we're picking up our phones. Of course we're being distracted. It's so hard to stay on point when we have our mind constantly pulling us away from whatever it is we're trying to focus on, and we have technology pulling us away from whatever it is we're trying to focus on. So it's really hard to show up in each moment as the most powerful versions of ourselves if we cannot focus.
What can you recommend our viewers that they can start doing right now to become more mindful?
Okay, a couple of things. The first thing is to meditate. And when I say meditate, there's no woo-woo-ness to it. When we meditate, there's so many different ways to do it. And so you can simply, eyes open or eyes closed, take a few breaths, become aware of your breath, take a nice slow breath in, and as you exhale, bring your shoulders down. And do that for a few times. A breath in, exhale, shoulders come down. And then consciously release your jaw, because we don't realize that we are walking around with our shoulders up.
I read that the other day.
Ears.
The amount of tension that we place in our jaw is
and in our neck and shoulders.
It's astounding.
It is. And that if you have a lot of jaw clenching going on and a lot of shoulder shoulders are up and shoulder tension, you are triggering your fight-flight response. Yeah. And that fight-flight response begins a cascade of negative physiology that harms us. Yeah. And so the first thing is to develop a simple skill where you sit, become aware of your breath, stop what you're doing, witness your breath flowing, bring your shoulders down, unclench your jaw. You could do this when you're driving, obviously with your eyes open. You could do it at your desk, and just tap in a few moments a day. Additionally, it would be really nice to meditate maybe 5-10 minutes a day, because when we meditate, we actually can create a shift in the architecture of the brain. Studies out of Harvard have proven this. That makes it easier for us.
So fascinating.
Yeah, it makes it easier for us to stay focused and not be distracted, because our fear center, the part of our brain responsible for distraction, actually decreases with a consistent practice, and the part of our brain, our frontal lobe, our prefrontal cortex, the gray matter density actually increases, and so it makes it easier for us to stay focused. And we want that frontal lobe, that prefrontal cortex, we want that part of our brain in charge, because that's our CEO. Yeah. And eventually it becomes easier. Yeah. So finding times to actually sit, witness our breath, be mindful, eyes open or eyes closed. The second one is once you start to cultivate that ability to become more self-aware. Yeah. Now, self-awareness is not just about noticing things about yourself. It's about noticing and monitoring your interrelationship with everything that's going on around you, the world around you, the people around you, to be more empathetic, sympathetic, more caring, more kind, and more aware of the world around you. And that includes being aware if you're getting migraines, that they're stress-related. Correct. If they are stress-related, yeah. Which they often are, and maybe doing something before that migraine hits you, yeah. To tame your stress. Because really the greatest accomplishment we can have in our self-care is to learn to choose one thought over another. So we know that eating is healthy for us. We know that nutrition is so important to our health and well-being, our lifespan. We know that exercise is. And the reason this has become such a buzzword, because now we know
the things that will actually help us improve.
Right, that taming the stress in our life and being more present-minded and being more focused not only will make us healthier, improve our lifespan, but it will also give us a more fruitful life. Because we're actually experiencing it. Because this is where the magic happens, in the present moment. If we're always time traveling, we miss our life. We let go of the hold we have on actually living our life each day, because we're never there. And I think the last piece of the puzzle is to be kind to yourself, and to know that people say to me, there's no way I can meditate or be more mindful, I have too many thoughts. We all have too many thoughts. Life is complicated. Life is scary sometimes. The key is, are you brave enough to step in and say, I have control over this. I can make this different. I can make myself better at everything that I do simply by being present. Because it is in our nature to be mindful.
Correct.
If you look at any animal in the wild, or even our cats and dogs, they're mindful. You see them, sometimes they're just sitting there. And you're like, what are they doing? They're just being.
They're just being.
And in our earliest existence as a species, and even probably hundreds of years ago, we had much more time to tap in and to not always be doing. But we live in a busy world. But it is in our nature to be still. So it's really not something that you learn as much as something that you return to.
Correct.
And very few people will say, I don't like this. They love it when they remember to slow down and to take hold of their life. It starts to become where they want to be. And so then it's not, you're not struggling to do that. You expect it.
You're just doing
it. You expect it because it makes you happy. It's like
no, thank you for all those amazing tips. And now we're going to shift the conversation a little bit and just tie it back into where we're headed with this show, which is finding ways to just live more beautifully from the inside and out. How do you define beauty?
I think that beauty is passion. I think that when you're passionate about anything in your life, when there is passion, I feel like it creates a glow, a radiance. It gives us a reason to wake up every day. There's a book written called The Blue Zones, and one of the things, they traveled around the world and interviewed people who were 100 years of age and older, who were living very full lives. And of course they ate healthy, and they all ate different, but the regular things they all tapped on. They ate healthy, they didn't drink too much, they got exercise, but of course one of the key aspects was that they woke up in the morning with a reason.
Wow.
And that actually chokes me up
Yeah.
when I think about it.
Yeah.
And that reason at 100 could be that they get to see their great-great-great-grandchildren every day, or that they have a garden.
Yeah.
It could be anything,
Yeah.
but waking up with a reason and with a passion for something in your life, that creates beauty from the inside
And I
out.
believe it also creates action, because it makes you
Right.
want to continue to work towards that, to
Right.
experience that and feel that.
My one piece of advice is to catch yourself today, to catch yourself when you're feeling that stress, wherever it hits you. For me, it hits me here. For other people, it might hit them here. To just notice when you're feeling stress and give yourself a break. You get a lot more done
You're
when
just
you're
better.
happy.
Yeah.
You get a lot more
Thank you
done.
so much for sharing all of this amazing information. There you have it, Bellas. To live a more beautiful life inside and out, we need to practice being more mindful. Thanks so much, Judy, for sharing
Thank you for
sharing
having
all
me.
of your
Thank you
knowledge.
for having
And we'll
me.
see you on our next show. Bye.